That day, the Black Pearl rose through the sea mist like a resurrected curse, bringing with it Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, and those trapped by Aztec gold in the darkness. In 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean turned a theme park ride into a cinematic legend. Now, more than 2 decades later, the cast has seen some rise brilliantly, some fall into scandal, and some quietly change their lives. Let's look back at then and now. Number 1. Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. There are characters who only need a single staggering step to change the rhythm of the entire screen. And Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow is exactly that kind of legend. When Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl premiered in 2003, Johnny Depp, born in 1963, was 40 years old at the time of filming, stepping into the role of a pirate who seemed drunk, sly, and humorous, yet inside possessed a mind calculating every wave. Jack appears in Port Royal on a sinking boat, rescues Elizabeth Swann from drowning, and is immediately recognized as a pirate. From that moment, he is both a joke and the spark for the entire adventure. Jack wants to reclaim the Black Pearl, a ship that once belonged to him before Barbossa betrayed him and left him on a deserted island with a pistol holding a single bullet. He manipulates Will Turner, deceives the Navy, bargains with enemies, and twists every situation with an unpredictable, carefree attitude. What makes the role stand out is not just the costume or the walk, but the way Depp turns Jack into the soul of the film. A coward at the right time, fearless at the right moment, always surviving by wit. After the film, Depp became a global icon, but his real life sank into major drama. Divorce from Amber Heard, the 2022 defamation trial, and public accusations that shook his career. Currently, Johnny Depp is alive. Current age, 62. Back then, Jack Sparrow searched for his lost ship. Now, Depp remains like a sailor passing through storms, leaving behind laughter, controversy, and a compass that never points to peace. Number 2. Orlando Bloom as Will Turner. If Jack Sparrow is the wild wind at sea, then Orlando Bloom's Will Turner is the young blade that keeps the story's heart alive. Orlando Bloom, born in 1977, was 26 at the time of filming, stepping out of the glow of Legolas to become a Port Royal blacksmith carrying pirate blood. Will begins not with power, but with quietness. He loves Elizabeth Swann, forges swords for Norrington, and lives under the shadow of a lower social class. But when Elizabeth is taken aboard the Black Pearl by Barbossa because of the Aztec gold medallion, Will is no longer a man standing outside history. He frees Jack Sparrow from prison, joins Jack to steal the Interceptor, chases the Black Pearl, and gradually discovers that his father, Bootstrap Bill Turner, was a pirate. Each stage pushes Will from someone who believes in rules to someone who understands that honor sometimes must pass through betrayal, prison, and blood. The role stands out because Bloom brings innocence and determination, perfectly contrasting Depp's cunning. Will is not as funny as Jack, nor as terrifying as Barbossa, but he is the character who makes the audience believe that love can break a curse. After the film, Bloom continued his fame with Troy, Kingdom of Heaven, and later Pirates installments, but his real life also had turmoil. His marriage to Miranda Kerr ended in divorce in late 2013, and his long relationship with Katy Perry was reported to have ended in 2025. Currently, Orlando Bloom is alive. Current age, 49. Back then, Will Turner wielded his sword to save Elizabeth. Now, Bloom still carries the image of a young man from the forge, growing through love, fame, and very human breakups. Number 3. Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swann. Elizabeth Swann enters Pirates of the Caribbean not as a helpless lady waiting to be rescued, but as a flame hidden beneath a tight corset. Keira Knightley, born in 1985, was 18 at the time of filming, and that youth made Elizabeth both fragile and rebellious. From the opening scene as a child seeing Will Turner drifting at sea, Elizabeth is already haunted by the pirate world. Growing up in Port Royal as the daughter of Governor Weatherby Swann, she is surrounded by etiquette, gowns, Norrington's proposal, and a safe but suffocating future. When the Aztec medallion draws Barbossa in, Elizabeth is captured aboard the Black Pearl, claims the name Turner to protect Will, and discovers the pirates feel nothing due to the curse. She does not just scream or wait. Elizabeth bargains with Barbossa, escapes, burns a signal on the island, stands in the final battle, and becomes the link between Jack, Will, the Navy, and the curse. The role stands out because Knightley makes Elizabeth the emotional center, a noblewoman craving freedom, a lover of Will drawn into Jack's world. After the film, Knightley rose to international stardom with Pride and Prejudice, Atonement, The Imitation Game, and many dramas. Her real-life drama is not loud with scandal. But she won a lawsuit against Daily Mail in 2007 over false claims related to eating disorder accusations and has spoken about pressures on women in film. Currently, Keira Knightley is alive. Current age, 41. Back then, Elizabeth cast off her noble dress to chase the sea. Now, Knightley remains the image of a star who was young, strong, and unwilling to be confined. Number 4. Geoffrey Rush as Hector Barbossa. Not every villain needs darkness, because Hector Barbossa of Geoffrey Rush only needs a cold smile under moonlight for the curse to appear. Geoffrey Rush, born in 1951, was 52 at the time of filming, stepping into the role of Black Pearl's captain with the presence of an old sea fox, both aristocratic and rotten with greed. Barbossa was once Jack Sparrow's first mate, but betrayed him, seized the ship, stole the Aztec gold at Isla de Muerta, and condemned his crew to a curse, unable to die, unable to feel food, drink, wind, or pleasure. In the film, Barbossa captures Elizabeth believing her blood can lift the curse. He politely invites her to dine while threatening her with his undead crew. Through each scene, Rush makes Barbossa more than a typical villain. He does not just want gold. He wants to live again, to taste apples, to feel cold seas and human death. The climax in the treasure cave shows Barbossa as both terrifying and tragic when Will Turner breaks the curse. Barbossa is shot by Jack and finally realizes he can die. The role stands out because Rush creates a perfect counter to Depp. Jack is chaotic. Barbossa is controlled. Jack improvises. Barbossa dominates. After the film, Rush continued as a major stage and film actor, achieving the triple crown of acting. In real life, he was involved in a defamation case against Daily Telegraph over misconduct allegations. The court ruled in his favor and compensation was upheld on appeal. Currently, Geoffrey Rush is alive. Current age, 74. Back then, Barbossa died before finishing his apple. Now, Rush leaves behind a villain with the salt of the sea and the bitterness of a curse. Number 5. Jack Davenport as James Norrington. James Norrington does not appear as a pirate, does not drink, is not cursed, and does not mock the law. He enters as a sword polished too perfectly, and that makes his tragedy memorable. Jack Davenport, born in 1973, was 30 at the time of filming, playing a Royal Navy officer in Port Royal representing the order Jack Sparrow seeks to break. Norrington is promoted and proposes to Elizabeth Swann in a formal setting, but the proposal is interrupted when Elizabeth faints from her corset and falls into the sea. From there, Norrington is drawn into chaos, capturing Jack, chasing the Black Pearl, suspecting Will Turner, and facing the truth that rules are not fast enough to save the one he loves. In the first half, he is the barrier between Elizabeth and Will. By the end, he understands that honor is not only in orders. When Jack Sparrow faces execution, Norrington could uphold the law, but seeing Elizabeth's love, Will's loyalty, and Jack's undeniable nature, he grants Jack a day to escape. The role stands out because Davenport does not make Norrington petty. He makes him a man trapped between love, honor, and failure. After Pirates, Davenport continued in television and films such as Coupling, Smash, The Morning Show, while keeping a relatively private life without major scandals. He married actress Michelle Gomez and was recorded as obtaining U.S. citizenship with his family in 2023. Currently, Jack Davenport is alive. Current age, 53. Back then, Norrington stood on the dock watching Jack disappear. Now, Davenport remains a reminder of a gentleman who lost in love but won in the moment he chose to let go. Number 6. Jonathan Pryce as Governor Weatherby Swann. Not everyone aboard this fateful journey carries a sword or a gun, some carry only honor. And Weatherby Swann embodies that truth. Jonathan Pryce, born in 1947, was 56 at the time of filming, stepping into the role of the governor of Port Royal with calm dignity, always trying to keep his world steady against the rising chaos. Back then, he was a father who loved his daughter Elizabeth deeply, hoping to secure her future through a safe marriage with Norrington, believing law and status could protect her. But Pirates is not a story for those who stand still. When Elizabeth is kidnapped, Swann cannot chase with a sword like Will, nor scheme like Jack. He can only watch the world he trusts begin to crumble. Through every moment, Pryce gives the character authenticity. The worried eyes when Elizabeth disappears, the helplessness when the Navy fails, and the pain of realizing his daughter has chosen a path he cannot control. The role stands out because Swann anchors the emotional core in a world of betrayal. He represents an old order where honor and law once held meaning. After the film, Jonathan Pryce continued his distinguished career with The Crown, Game of Thrones, and major stage roles, affirming his place as one of Britain's most respected actors. His real life has not been filled with loud Hollywood scandals, though there were debates around his role in Miss Saigon in the 1980s related to race representation in theater. Currently, Jonathan Pryce is alive. Current age, 79. Back then, Weatherby Swann stood on the harbor watching his daughter leave safety. Now, Pryce remains the image of a father lost in a changing era where love cannot be contained by ceremony. Number 7. Lee Arenberg as Pintel. Some characters never stand in the spotlight yet remain unforgettable. And Pintel, played by Lee Arenberg, is exactly that kind of piece, rough, humorous, and colored by the curse. Lee Arenberg, born in 1962, was 41 at the time of filming, portraying a pirate in Barbossa's crew, bound by Aztec gold in a state between life and death. Back then, Pintel was not a leader nor a hero, but appeared in nearly every key moment aboard the Black Pearl, capturing Elizabeth, guarding prisoners, and arguing constantly with Ragetti. When the moonlight strikes, his body turns into a skeleton, blending horror with comedy in a strange but memorable way. Pintel represents those consumed by greed with no return, both terrifying and ridiculous, cruel yet oddly human. The role stands out because Arenberg adds a unique rhythm to the film. Between battles and schemes, Pintel brings laughter, softening the darkness of the curse. After Pirates, Arenberg continued television work with Once Upon a Time and other projects, maintaining his image as a versatile supporting actor. His personal life remains relatively private without major scandals, though his career has not always reached leading heights, often being cast in specific supporting roles. Currently, Lee Arenberg is alive. Current age, 64. Back then, Pintel was trapped between life and death. Now, Arenberg remains a familiar face of side characters who are never forgotten. Number 8. Mackenzie Crook as Ragetti. If Pintel is the rough laughter, Ragetti, played by Mackenzie Crook, is the strange edge that makes the pirate world feel different. Mackenzie Crook, born in 1971, was 32 at this time of filming, bringing to life a character with a loose wooden eye and a soul that still holds fragments of morality. Back then, Ragetti was more than Barbossa's henchman. He was the only one who sometimes questioned morality, murmuring about the Bible, sign, and redemption. Even while cursed throughout the Black Pearl's journey, Ragetti guards prisoners, argues with Pintel, and shows rare human moments when facing Elizabeth and Will. When the curse is lifted, Ragetti is not a victor but a survivor, carrying unanswered questions. The role stands out because Crook balances humor and tragedy, oddity and humanity, making Ragetti more than a nameless pirate. After Pirates, Crook achieved major success with The Office UK, Detectorists, and directing work, proving his multi-dimensional talent. His real life is not filled with scandals, but his career took a distinctive path, stepping away from Hollywood to build a uniquely British artistic identity. Currently, Mackenzie Crook is alive. Current age, 55. Back then, Ragetti was lost between curse and faith. Now, Crook remains an artist following his own path, quiet yet full of character. Number 9. Kevin McNally as Joshamee Gibbs. Not every legend stands at the bow, some stand behind the wheel, telling stories and preserving memory. And Joshamee Gibbs is exactly that spirit. Kevin McNally, born in 1956, was 47 at the time of filming, portraying Jack Sparrow's loyal companion, a former Navy man who understands both law and freedom. Back then, Gibbs first appears as a drunken sailor telling tales of the Black Pearl to Will Turner, planting the seed of the journey. When Jack returns, Gibbs becomes his ally, helping find ships, recruit crew, and stand beside him in life or death moments. He is not a flashy hero, but he keeps Jack from losing himself completely. The role stands out because McNally brings rare warmth to a world of betrayal. Gibbs is loyal not for money, but for belief and friendship. After Pirates, McNally continued appearing in later installments and television projects. His real life saw controversy when he was arrested in 2021 over domestic violence allegations. Though he was not charged, the incident still left a mark on his public image. Currently, Kevin McNally is alive. Current age, 70. Back then, Gibbs told stories of ghost ships. Now, McNally continues telling the story of his own life, with both light and shadow. Number 10. Zoe Saldaña as Anamaria. Some characters appear briefly, yet signal a larger journey ahead. And Anamaria, played by Zoe Saldaña, is that first wind of change. Zoe Saldaña, born in 1978, was 25 at the time of filming, portraying a strong pirate who once had her ship stolen by Jack Sparrow. Back then, Anamaria had limited screen time, but every appearance carried intensity. confronting Jack, demanding her ship back, then quickly joining the crew when seeing a bigger opportunity. In the pirates' world, where women are often placed in weaker roles, Anamaria stands as an exception, confident, decisive, needing no rescue. The role stands out because despite limited time, Saldaña created a distinct female pirate image, hinting at greater possibilities. After the film, Zoe Saldaña rose to become one of Hollywood's most successful actresses with Avatar, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Star Trek, becoming a global icon. Her real life includes discussions about racism and body image pressures in the industry, yet she maintains a positive image without major scandals. Currently, Zoe Saldaña is alive. Current age, 48. Back then, Anamaria demanded her ship back. Now, Saldaña commands an entire cinematic empire, no longer needing to reclaim anything. From the Black Pearl to their separate life paths, they have passed through fame, scandal, and time. Yet whenever the sound of waves returns, those names rise again as a reminder that cinema can be immortal, while people never stop changing.